One. Hey guys, welcome back to the Nets, the home of unbiased views. This is a channel where we talk about cricket, we talk about football. When we talk about football, it's usually Arsenal. But since we are having an ICC event, not an ICC event, I'm sorry. Since we are having a UEFA and a FIFA event going on, we will be talking about the international teams this time. With me is Elroy, but before we go anywhere, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you like our channel, leave us in the comments. If you don't like it, leave us in the comments and we will work on improving the content. So, hey, Elroy, welcome back.
Hey, Kale. How are things?
Things are good. Some surprises. Wasn't really expecting England to be in the final, but now
Yeah.
that they are here, I think it's going to be an exciting final. It's probably two of the best teams that are fighting it out.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely the case. Like in our discussions itself, we have always been talking about Italy, and I have been like Italy were my choice right from the start. So I want them to win as well, and they will definitely go into this as favorites considering history of their performances, and they have been on a good run. But take nothing away from England. England have a different factor to them this time. They have a lot of people will say they've been lucky and favorable circumstances, but in the end all these circumstances and luck factors can make a team win. Like we've seen how Chelsea won the Champions League in 2012. Like when everything was against them, at the same time everything just ended up being working out for them. So, and it's a cup final at the end of the day, so there are no favorites, to be honest. It's just one game, 90 minutes plus extra time maybe, where everything will be decided. And there is anyone can be the winner, like irrespective of prior form. It's like this one game is unpredictable. Yeah.
So true. And speaking about England, if you ask me, the win against Germany was a big, big, big booster for them, mental booster. They had not been able to get past Germany in knockouts in the past, recent past, or historically, or maybe ever. But
Yeah.
getting over that, Kane scoring that goal, probably that starts, that belief factor going in mentally. Yes, we can do
Yeah.
it. Plus, history has always said that when England was in the final, and that has just happened once, but when
Happened
they
once.
have
Yeah.
been in the finals, they have won it. So, plus the fact that it's being played in their home ground, Wembley. So, I
Yeah.
think England may go in as favorites. So, that favorite stack might be something that, they will have to constantly going on at the back of their head.
Yeah.
Again, two teams which have never won the championship in the past are fighting it out. So, defensively compact, both those teams. Defenses win
Yeah.
you championships. We hear that over and over again. I just hope it's a good game.
Yeah.
I don't
And
want it
take
to be.
take nothing of, yeah. This England squad has been different, has actually been different compared to the England squads of the past. And there are a couple of factors to it as well. One thing is, to be honest, I was like prior to the tournament, and even when the tournament was going on, then looking at the way 2018 World Cup has been, or like certain favoritism that has been there with Southgate. I was one person who said, I made a statement on Twitter, and I know this can come back and haunt me as well. I said that England have a golden generation right now, which can be messed up by Southgate. But Southgate has just proved me wrong. He's proved a lot of people wrong. His game management and his overall tactical setup has actually been good, at least in the last couple of games, which is something, it was not typically of what Southgate used to do, but he's done it well. And hats off to him for the way his in-game management, the timing of his substitutes, the way the team is set up, the way the way they attack, the way they've been defensively solid. Like they have conceded just one goal in the entire tournament so far. He's done really well. And if you see the game against Denmark as well, where they were leading 2-1, England didn't give Denmark a chance to get into the game. And that is typical. Like normally you would see a team like, maybe giving the opposition the ball and just falling, like parking the bus. But England didn't. They just kept on rotating the possession and like didn't allow Denmark to even get the ball and finished off the match there. That was brilliant game management. So hats off to them. I mean, to be honest, none of us could have even predicted England to be this way, but they've been really good. And yeah.
And the home ground advantage always helps. The fact that
Yeah.
they have pace in the back, they have pace in the middle, and they have creativity all augurs well for them. And I think Harry Kane, as much as we dislike him, he is a brilliant finisher. Cannot take
Yeah,
anything away from him. So I think it's going to be one of those games that may start as a defensive battle, both
yeah,
teams trying to not let
true.
the other team score to begin with.
Yeah,
And then it might just end up being the offensive in the midfield. And I think England has
yes.
better forwards than Italy does. But one thing I would say here is Mancini. Mancini, do not discount him out. I mean, I know Gareth
Exactly. Yeah,
Southgate has been brilliant, but with Mancini, you have a coach who has proven himself in Italy. And the way he does is when he's in Italy, he plays their kind of football. When he was
yeah,
in England, he molded himself to play
yeah,
the English style of football. So he's a astute and a brilliant manager. I won't take
yeah.
anything past him coming into a tournament with a record of 33 unbeaten games now. I mean
Exactly.
24
Yeah,
to begin with, and now he's at 33. I won't I won't be surprised if he tactically he pulls a rabbit out of his hat.
true. And to be honest, it was Mancini. He is making this Italian team play in a very un-Italian way. Like we've never seen the Italy teams attacking in such flair and such, you know, possession-based play and like such good attack. But at the same time, he seems to have kept the Italian principles. Being tactically smart, being defensively solid, being good at the dark arts. How the way they kind of like would go to waste time or like get these tactical falls, or when the game they have to close off the game, how they will manage like the throw, the kick outs and everything, fouls. They're very good at that. So it's like he's added a different layer to the existing Italian team. And that's again, so exactly, it is for the first time, in a long, like you see um, the 2018 World Cup, which was between yeah, France and Croatia. It was everybody kind of had this doubt that it would be one-sided. Prior to that, it was Portugal and France. Again, that was, everybody thought that it would be Portugal, but I mean France, but Portugal won it somehow. But in this game is like a really well balanced game. Like you cannot predict who is going to win this one. Like there's no clear favorite in this case, and that is the kind of match we want in a final, and it's definitely going to be a good one.
So let's take a break from talking about this final. This is tomorrow, the big one
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Neymar versus Messi.
Oh
And I
yes,
don't know if
that's.
you got a chance to see the semi-final between Argentina and Colombia,
I just saw
but
the penalty shootout.
uh, and every single time I look at Martinez, my anger towards Arteta just increases up a notch. How can we let a goalkeeper in his prime who was proving himself out
uh,
and out in the tournament go for just 20 million to a Premier
uh,
League rival? And I say rival because, yes, Aston Villa, the way we are being managed right now, we are a mid table team, and Aston Villa is a mid table team. And yes, they are technically our rivals. Yes, we
yeah,
have a bigger history, but nonetheless, they are our rivals right now. And Martinez has have just the body language, just the way he was talking to
yeah.
the players, banter. It was brilliant.
So, see, the thing is, this is going to the problem with the reason why I don't like the situation is that every time Martinez has a really good game and Leno has a bad game. Okay, even let's discount Leno from this conversation. It's like there's always a Twitter meltdown. See, even in our previous discussion the day last week when we were talking about last time when we were talking about Onana or when we were talking about Ramsdale, we mentioned that yes, Arsenal did mess up this. But if you look at it from the point of view from last season, there were a lot of factors to this. One being that Leno was really good. Leno, till he got injured, he had no, there was no flaw in him that would say that, that we need to let him go. That was the first thing. Second point was that Martinez had done well for like what 10 to 15 games, and prior to this, he was almost just a basic second choice keeper at Arsenal, sometimes even third choice. Third thing was he had a really good season, and the ended his season well, and his stocks like 20 million for a goalkeeper last season, who was going into the last year of his contract, was still a very very good deal. So if you look at it from Arsenal's point of view, they had two things. One was either give him an extension, which, or second, in a market where, last year being the COVID season where there was no inflow of cash coming, you know, if they're getting 20 million for a goalkeeper who was usually second choice, I think Arsenal, see, in terms of what I would see back then, it was a practical decision and they've gone with it. And, that back then, even I supported that decision, like to be fair. Like it doesn't look good now, but it's like we can't complain because at the end of the day we did get 20 million. For me it was like, I'll put it in another way, it's like what we can complain about is something like, say, Gnabry, where we sold him for 8 million, and look at the kind of player he has turned out today. That 8 million or whatever, that was peanuts for Gnabry. Whereas Emi, at the end of the day, yes, he's performing well, he's doing really well, and tomorrow he could make a move from Aston Villa to even a top 4 club for maybe 50 million, say, and we will not be able to complain about it because we got our 20 million in this, which was massive compared to what we have, we had invested in it. But yes, it doesn't. And considering the way, but at the same time I get the argument, because considering the way we are looking for a second choice goalkeeper now, and how we are, the Leno's contract situation, it does make put the club in a bad light, that the club has really messed up the situation. But I would just say it is what it is. That is how I would say, because the decision was taken last season in a more practical approach, and we have to live with it now.
So, moving from there, any predictions for the final? Messi, who was pretty much ready to quit international
Yeah.
football 4 years back at the same situation when he missed a penalty, took the first penalty, was brilliant, has
Yeah.
been amazing, top scorer, top assist maker. He's Messi. He's
Yeah.
arguably the greatest. And I know this argument can go on Ronaldo or Messi. And then I look back and
Yeah.
say, I am a nobody to comment on those guys. So let's just stay out of that. But
Yeah.
today, do you think he ends the 28-year wait for Argentina?
I would like to, I hope it happens, because, Messi has harshly been judged by, I mean, everybody knows he's actually by far the greatest player on earth. Okay. Yeah. There are certain debates, but whatever. But the thing with Messi is, at the end of the day, he is, people tend to judge him purely because he hasn't won an international trophy. And there's only so much that a man can do to, take his entire country on his back. And he's finally reached a stage where he's very close to it. So, here's another joke. Last season, towards the end of when Martinez was still an Arsenal keeper and he was not yet, there were rumors of him leaving the club. One of my friends made this comment saying that, he said Martinez got the Argentina call up that time. And he said, finally, Martinez getting the Argentina call up will lead to Messi winning his first international trophy, and we are one step away from that. And I have a feeling, see, both the teams are very passionate teams, passionate countries, of countries which are passionate about their football. Brazil has a lot of passion in them. The players, play with their hearts out, and uh, Argentina will be doing the same. It's again like the Euro. This is a match which you just cannot call out. But for me, Messi being Messi will be like a deciding factor. Messi can take the game by its neck and just, end up giving them the turn. And I hope that does happen.
Then you have Neymar,
Yeah.
arguably the greatest actor football has seen. So, I mean, I should not say that we have Deli Ali and Harry Kane to go along with that, but Neymar, on his day as well, he's brilliant. Cannot take that away. He's a
Yes,
brilliant
true.
footballer. Cannot take that away from him. But I heart goes out to Messi that yes, Messi should get that because it just reminds me a few years back of the Sachin Tendulkar situation where people would always
Oh,
say he does
yes.
not have a
Yeah.
World Cup yet,
World Cup.
and
Yeah,
I
true.
hope
True.
that Messi breaks that today.
Yes.
So fingers crossed for him. I hope the better team wins again for both trophies and both challenges, both matches. My biggest thing is it should not
It
be
should
a
be a good
referee
match.
based match where a referee error
Exactly.
has cost the other
Exactly.
team.
You don't want, especially, and this has happened quite a bit since we follow the Premier League most, like, how many games have been this season where the referee's decision has been the main talking point as compared to the performance, the good or the bad performance about the teams? It's always been the talk about the referee, and the referees, in my opinion, have taken the limelight away. I want a final which is based on quality, both these finals, and I really hope we get that.
No. It has to be, like even the last Denmark penalty. I know that it's long said and done now, but that was not a penalty. That Sterling decision was not a penalty. And England,
Yeah,
for
that
some reason,
was,
always gets decisions in their favor. So, uh,
yeah,
anywho, let's just, like I just hope that again the final is not one among those. And I was looking at Bjorn Cooper, the Dutch referee who's going to officiate the final.
yeah,
He has had tons and tons of experience, officiated in the 2014 World Cup, 2018 World Cup as well. So I hope
yeah,
it's not going to be one of those decisions where a referee costs the other
yeah.
team a game.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, and before we do that, let's just remind the viewers, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you have come this far. And if you think we are doing a good job, let us know. If you're not doing a good job, let us know again. But moving to Arsenal, we finally announced number 20 today, Nuno
Yes.
Tavares, a left back. But again, some rumors already floating out that Edu has probably bought him with the intent of playing him as a left winger. So, comments on that, thoughts and comments on that?
See, I wouldn't be against that because look, he's played as a left back who's a very attacking left back, and it's a good option to have. Whereas Tierney has also been a good attacking left back, but Tierney has everything. Now, defensive ability and to go up front. Whereas Tavares is somebody defensively he's a bit susceptible, but attack from based on what I have read and what I've watched, he's a good attacking fullback. Now he is basically a backup left back. Like he's not going to overthrow KT for sure. So where else do you play him? Maybe during certain in your trailer, you're leading 1-0, you want to you want to park the bus, you bring in another left wing back who will be able to probably just give another counter, or who will be able to defend as well to some extent. Or sometimes you're actually chasing the game and you need somebody on that wing to put in crosses and all. He's not going to be played only as a left back, that is for sure. But at the end of the day, see, we've got him for what, 7 million, and he's a squad option. And this is, for me, this is good, smart business. Like I agree, I was one of those people who thought that if we are getting Ryan Bertrand for a 1 year or a 2 year deal, or even Patrick Van Aanholt for 1 or 2 year deal is fine. 3 year deal is a big no. 3 year deal is something which you end up regretting that, and we will be seeing something like that with probably with Cedric as well. So it's a good option to have. At the end of the day, say if Tavares cannot make it at Arsenal, I mean, he gets frustrated because Tierney is not pushing for Tierney's play. We sell him, and I don't think we can make much of a loss on it. We will either make a profit or we will get back the same amount of money. So this for me is smart business, because at the end of the day, he's just 22. He has a big career ahead of him, and this is smart business. Similarly, with you would have probably read with right now with Lokonga deal is also agreed. He's already undergone his medical based on the rumors in Belgium or France, one of these countries, and then he'll be quarantined. He will be under isolation, and then he will join Arsenal. Once he comes to London, he'll be isolated, and then he will join Arsenal. Again, 21-year-old, where we are paying 17 million, smart move, because we are not going to lose a lot on him. If he becomes good, you can end up selling him for a great amount, or he'll be the fourth choice central midfielder this season, and he has a lot of attributes which will help our squad right now. Again, these two signings are really, really smart, and I look forward to having these two players with our squad.
So, speaking of smart signings, I am really looking forward to Neves and or our. Now,
Yeah,
I know that Neves, probably because he has a Premier League experience, has a higher tag, 34 million. But I think that if Neves comes in, he's going to be a starter. He's not, we are not going to buy Neves to be on the bench. He's going to be a starter, and he has
definitely, definitely.
performed
Yeah.
decently, both for
Yes.
Portugal as well as for Wolves.
Yeah.
So,
He will definitely be the starter. Yeah.
I think he will be a starter. He will be complementing Pepe. Not Pepe, sorry, Partey. Uh,
Partey.
what do you think about the whole White situation now? White is and again, another rumor that I heard was that the thought process was that if Ashley Maitland-Niles is actually willing to play as a right back, he will be persisted with. He will be given a contract extension. If
Yeah.
not, then he will be sold. So if we
Yeah.
do have somebody like Ashley Maitland-Niles, who has been a decent right back, let's not,
Yeah.
he's not bad, he's not brilliant, but he's decent. What do you have to say
Yeah.
about that?
See, for me, the right back situation is going to be the last option that we go ahead with, because as you know, currently, if you see on paper, we have four right backs with us. And if we have four right backs and a fifth guy who can play as a right back. That is considering we get Ben White. So we have, okay, let's ignore Ben White for now. We have Bellerin, we have Chambers, we have Cedric, and we have Niles. Four players who can play as right back. Now, Niles will obviously, I don't think, after getting a chance as a central midfielder at West Brom, I don't think he will settle for a full back role anymore. Bellerin is almost like, you can say 80% he's out of the club for sure. It's like, it's done. He's not going to. So that is left, you're still left with Chambers and Cedric. So I don't see us buying a right back, you know, to to have a third choice, right? Because Chambers is, I don't think Chambers will be getting the right center back role as well. So it is, and I don't, unless we have an option of, unless we get rid of Cedric as well. But do you? I don't trust Arsenal to. I mean, not. It's not about trust. It will be very difficult to get rid of three right backs, especially one of them who has another 3 years or 2 years left on his contract. That is Cedric. I think he has 3 years left on his contract, which will be very difficult to get rid of. So right back for me will be completely down the priority list. Although Arsenal do want a right back very badly, but this is what it is. We are in a tough situation to get a new one. Coming to
So
yes, Ben
speaking
White.
of which, there
The
was
rumors
also
are that
another thing that was, sorry, go ahead. You're cutting in and out a little bit there.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I was just talking about Ben White. Also, they say that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the network is a bit bad. I was saying with Ben White, we tend to. There is a rumor that we have agreed with Brighton, although it's not official yet, and everything will be done after the Euros. So for now, it is definitely going to be quiet, but we'll get news maybe by next week. Is what I'm expecting.
Well, the good thing is Saka's stocks have soared super high with the Euros. So
Yeah,
that's a good thing. He has,
yeah.
and speaking of contract extensions, I was extremely happy and thrilled that Tierney got a contract extension and he signed it without any questions. So
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
really, really good news for Arsenal. The other
yeah,
rumor was that considering Partey's fitness and Partey's issues with being in and out of games, there was also another rumor that maybe Ashley Maitland-Niles will be a backup DM as as one of the things that he always wanted to explore or exploit, or he thinks that that is his
hmm,
favored position. So that was also being talked about. But that is again, we it's Twitter stories. I don't really know how
yeah,
much validity they have to it. But coming back to our 20
yeah.
million for a player of his quality, I
I
don't know
think
why Arsenal is
if
thinking.
20 25 million seems to be really, really good. To be honest, there was a lot of, there was, the initial reporter who reported it. It's one guy from, I think, from France. He, when he reported it, I dealt with, I thought this was a joke because this guy is known to report a lot of nonsense as well. But then within no time, like a day later, James Ollie from ESPN and even James Bench from CBS Sports, these two guys ended up tweeting. And these guys are reliable. They know proper Arsenal sources. So this does have legs to it. My only concern is that for me, this guy, what do you call that? My only concern is that uh, our might not be our first choice. I have a feeling that we have somebody else lined up, and if that doesn't work, we might get our, is what I feel. But yeah, that is, honestly speaking, if we get our, it's like nothing like it. If you're getting him for 25 million, 20 25 million, that's a steal. Uh, and see, the thing with only if question that I have with our is, if we get our, how do we play him? Do we partner him alongside Partey, which is not his typical role, or are we moving to a midfield three where he will be one of the number eights, which is that would suit him more? Or the third option is, do we play him as a number 10? And if we get him as a number 10, which might, I don't know how well it is, or are we looking at our to play both roles? Like when a number 10 is not there, he plays as a number 10. If not, he'll be helping Partey out or something that way. Like how we are going to set this up remains to be seen. But it's an interesting move, and if our happens, I think I would really be happy with this move.
So we had talked about this way back. I think 6 months back when we had Partey. Who are we building this team against, or who is the going to be the core of this team? And if
Yeah,
you ask me right now, the core of this team, or if the team has to be built around somebody, it may be Saka, Pepe, and Emil Smith Rowe,
yeah,
who I feel may be the
oh yeah,
starters.
and Tierney, of course.
And Tierney, yes. So
Yeah,
this, I mean, midfield core would be mid or wing, or however way we want to put it. These will be the core. Now,
yeah.
does ESR and our complement each other, or does ESR, Neves, and Partey complement each other? We do not know. And
I
the biggest thing is, will the two forwards fire?
yeah,
Will the two
I
forwards
think
fire?
so. To be honest, a lot of people have had this problem question right now that why are we spending 50 million on Ben White when we had like the third best defense in the
Defense.
league
Mhm.
as compared to when we had a really poor attack. So when you look at this, it does make, I mean, questions are raised, and we are see, one thing was last season, I think nobody could have counted on Oba misfiring so much. One of the main reasons I feel that we were really, I mean, there were a lot of other reasons because of our overall gameplay. Oba was misfiring, and that led to a huge chunk of goals. Not getting a huge chunk of goals, which we would have normally got in the last 2 seasons. So I think Arsenal will depend highly on Oba firing again and Pepe to continue his form from where he left off last season, and maybe even Laka. Laka's situation is still a big question mark, but let's see what happens out there. So yeah, we have the attack is still that is one of the reasons why I want us to invest in a good attacking midfielder, a good number 10, someone who has goals and assists in his locker. And that is one of the reasons I was kind of excited about James Madison, because Madison is a guy who will get you goals and get you assists. The problem is 60 million for Madison is actually a massive risk, and will Arsenal spend that much of money? And it won't even be 60 million. Knowing Leicester, Leicester we couldn't Leicester, how they sold Maguire for 80, whatever money that was, 80, 85 million something. They got what they wanted, so it's not going to be easy to negotiate or bargain with Leicester as well. So yeah,
I-
it's not going to be an
Yeah,
easy
I
one.
feel that with our as an option available, I do not think it's adds any value in getting Madison. And again, I know
Yeah,
quality wise Madison is better, but you on one hand you have the possibility of buying both our and Neves in the same amount that you will be paying for Madison, and
yeah.
spend putting that 60 million in the hands of a club as good as Leicester, who know their scouts, who know
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
it's just you are basically strengthening your opponents. Let them keep
True.
Madison is what I'm saying. Keep them.
Yeah.
Be happy with what you have. We can actually
Yeah.
invest in somebody, two different players who can add value to whatever
Yeah.
we have. We are actually at that level where anybody we buy in is going to be an upgrade on what we have.
Yeah. So
So
I always have this kind of just a joke. It's like, when you buy players from these teams that scout really well, like say for instance, teams like say Atletico, who tend to usually have good strikers, who have always produced good strikers, or teams like Dortmund, who produce some great attacking midfielders, or maybe even Ajax. My thing is always like, even Ajax, when it comes to their strikers and it in the my thing is like, in case of a big player of theirs is getting linked to another club, see who they are going to replace that guy with, and make a bid for them, because that would be outsmarting the market. Because these guys have a really good scouting network and good talent ID, and maybe we should try that as a new method, rather than targeting the
absolutely.
guy who's actually leaving the club. Yeah,
So before we wrap up, one quick question was there were rumors going around, circling around that Danny Ings might be available for free, and he could be a good one to come from the bench for if Laka goes. What do you have to say about
yeah.
that?
I mean, if you get Danny Ings for free, I think it would be a very good option to have. Definitely, because he provides something different. See, one of the things that we don't have right now is a very physical striker as well. Don't get me wrong, Danny Ings has a lot in his locker, but he also has that ability to be a traditional center forward who we have lacked. Laka and Oba have not been those typical center forwards of yours. Oba maybe, but he's more about putting through balls and running through the defense in between. Uh, Danny Ings would be someone different, but will we get him? I mean, to be honest, the center forward role is everything is dependent on Laka. Everything on Laka's situation. If Laka leaves, we get in a center forward. If Laka doesn't leave, that's it. There's no talk of any center forward till
We
next
will be
season.
persisting with Balogun and Martinelli and
Yeah,
Oba and Laka and maybe a
yeah,
makeshift Pepe.
yeah,
All right. So with that, and before we end up predictions for the finals, let's start with Copa America. Argentina, Brazil. Predictions for the game.
yeah. I'll go. I'll go with a 1-1 and Argentina to win it on penalties.
I think it's maybe 2-1 Brazil. I have a feeling,
Okay.
as much as I would want Messi to win something, I think Brazil might get it 2-1. The home support and everything
Okay.
that goes along with that. So, and moving to the next game, England, Italy.
Yeah. England, Italy. I would go with the 1-0 Italy. Uh, it will be a very closely fought match, and that one goal will separate entire towards, I would predict that goal coming between 70 to 80 minutes, the winning goal will come up, is what I'm saying.
I am going with a 2-0 Italy. And for me, I think that the first goal might come in the 24th, 25th minute. And then the second goal will come in the 84th, 86th minute when England is throwing everything and Italy attack in the
Yeah.
counter.
Oh,
But 2-0 is, like the German way of Materazzi scoring that kick and
yeah.
sealing the deal. I have a feeling that
Uh,
it's going to be that way. But
yeah.
on that note, thank you, Elroy, and
Thanks,
thank you
David.
for
Yeah.
watching us this all this long. If you like the videos, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let us know what we are doing good. Let us know what we are not doing good. And we will, we have been consistent relatively, but we will try to make a video again. Let's see after the Euros, the next day after the Euros. What do you say,
Yeah.
Roy?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Stay
Yeah.
healthy, stay
Thanks,
safe
guys.
wherever you are. And we will talk to you guys soon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.